Joe and Latrobe first up tonight. Joe, go ahead.
Hey, Joe.
Hi, a couple of things about the Pirates. I think the Pirates should draft Jack Leiter, first round of the draft. Do you think the Pirates can get a lot for Phillip Evans at the trade deadline?
No.
Also, my buddy did research on that Chuck guy. His name's Chuck Finder. He wrote a book from the Penguins and Steelers. I'll hang up and listen to your response.
Okay, I don't know the question. Chuck Finder's a very good writer. He's been here for a lot of years covering Pittsburgh sports. As far as Jack Leiter, I don't think you can go wrong. I prefer Leiter myself, Andrew. I mean, Rocker's good. I think this guy is more polished.
Well, his dad pitched in the major leagues for a long time, was very good. He's been dominant. You know, he's been overwhelming in the SEC, college baseball. Both guys on the same staff, which makes it easy for the scouts that are tracking this thing. But yeah, I mean, the Pirates were in a similar situation when they had the first pick in 2011. It was between, Trevor Bauer and Garrett Cole, and I think they made the right choice then. Now, this is obviously a different regime, but I think the safer of the two options would be Leiter because of the pedigree.
Maley on the south side joins us right now. What's up, Maley?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hey, that Mitch Keller, it looked like he was throwing pitches like he was out batting practice and his underwear all bunched up or, nervous.
Well, I mean, that's probably a pretty apt description. I don't know. I mean, he doesn't appear confident. I'll translate what you just said, Andrew. He does not appear confident. If you're going to be one of those kind of pitchers who's going to go out there and win games against good hitting teams, you got to be confident. We saw Tyler Anderson last night. He was pretty confident, but he's a veteran. Mitch Keller does not look confident.
No, he doesn't. Joe Musgrove's another guy, very fiery. You don't have to always show your emotion. You don't have to be that type of guy. I mean, there are plenty of professional athletes across sports that are stoic when they play, that don't talk big, that aren't always, bulldog types. But he just looks like he doesn't trust himself. Like he's got to talk himself into pitching, that he's, very anxious out there. And so I don't know where the solution for that comes from. I mean, I remember once upon a time they had Charlie Morton meet with a sports psychologist, and they thought that helped him. But then again, as I say this, he had success once he left Pittsburgh, really. He was okay here, but he was better post-Pirates career. So, I mean, that's the scary thing, Bob, is that you watch Mitch Keller, and I think every Pirates fan thinks as soon as he goes to a new team, he's going to instantly get good.
Yeah, I think that's happened. It happened with Charlie Morton. It happened with Tyler Glasnow. It happened with a lot of guys who've come and gone through here. So, all right, I want to go early to our Tri-State Office Furniture tweet of the day because it segues into our next topic, which would be the Pine Richland situation. This is from the 2025 A-State Champs on their Twitter. Again, brought to you by Tri-State Office Furniture. It says, I stand by Coach Kasparovich and the entire Pine Richland football coaching staff. It leads to this tweet by Maria Hudak, who says, what I've learned in my years of being a high school football coach in the 80s and 90s, fired more than once, is that most school boards are not qualified to run athletic programs. They believe they're George Steinbrenner when they're really George Costanzo. So I don't know because they won't say. I think, and I said this last night, I'll say it to you again, Andrew, I think they owe the community. By the way, this is a tax-paying community. This is a school district that takes taxes in. It has to be transparent. You can't just give a guy an email and say you're done. No reason, especially when there are speculations running rampant and it affects, I think, people's credibility and their image. They got to do something at some point. Don't you agree? Or they say it's a personnel matter we don't discuss. Well, you have to discuss when there's no reason given. And with all this rumor going out there, set the record straight.
Yeah. Well, I don't think by law they have to, Bob. But if I were the superintendent or if I was sitting on this school board and I made a controversial decision, I would be concerned that if I didn't back it up with facts, that I would be next. I mean, it sounds like you've got, a student body there, a football team, a lot of parents that don't support this decision. So whenever you make an unpopular decision, I think you've got to be able to sell your people on why it was the right one, even though it wasn't the popular one. And I don't see I don't see that going on right now. So these superintendents, these school board members, it's not a monarchy. They don't hold these positions for life. So to your point, I would want to get the information out there so people would see why we made this decision. And if they don't, well then, who knows? The superintendent doesn't have to be in charge of the Pine Richland schools for the rest of his life.
Right. And I think based on some of the comments made by some of the fired staff on Kasparovich's staff, they pretty much indicated there was a meeting and it was very clear that the superintendent and the athletic director and people in the front office over there did not like him and wanted him out, and they were trying to figure out ways. I would like to hear an explanation. I think the people of that community need one. Let's go to Greg in Punxsutawney. Hey, Greg, how are you?
Hey, Greg.
Good. How are you, Bob, Andrew?
Good.
Hey, my question
Hey, Greg.
tonight is, why do the Steelers continue to re-sign and bring back prior / current players instead of pursuing them in the draft? It seems like they always want to bring back former players instead of, moving on with someone new.
I think Pony made this point the other day, and it's a good one, that they pretty much just retained, and they haven't necessarily gone out and gotten better, at least new blood. But I will say in the case of Vince Williams, I like it just because it's cheaper, and he's still a pretty good player, and they need depth there. So they can still draft people and see if those guys come in and play, but I think they're trying to secure themselves given what they are up against the cap.
Yeah, I mean, they've never been a huge, splashy free agency team. I mean, they've never gone into off seasons and looked to build that way. But they've definitely complemented, they've added pieces like James Ferrier over the years in free agency that have had a huge impact. And he didn't have any connection to the Steelers. He was a Jets draft pick. And the problem for me is, Bob, I understand salary cap restraints, a lot of it because of unforeseen circumstances with the pandemic. But how do you actually get better? You haven't won a playoff game in 4 years. You lose Bud Dupree, Mike Hilton. There aren't like guys that just step in you can say they'll give us the same amount of production as those two guys. How do you my opinion, you have to get significantly better from last year. I don't care that they won 12 regular season games. To me, the playoff performances over the last few years and December collapses speak volumes. Who cares if you're winning games in October? What does that mean at the end of the day? Right? I mean, you bank those wins to make the playoffs, but if you can't win once you get there, what's the point?
Yeah,
so
especially
they've got to
since
do something.
That is their stated goal. It's to win championships. And from that point of view, you can't even win a playoff game at home. And this is twice in the last 4 years. They've gotten essentially blown out at home by teams they should have beaten and teams they were favored by, over. So we're going to take a break here, Andrew. When we come back, we have some more callers about the Pine Richland situation. We'll talk about that when we get back here. It's 412-575-2600. Don't go away. We're coming right back.